Hi, this is Rob from Access. I've just been playing The Elder Scrolls Online for the first time, and I'm joined now by Maria from Bethesda. Hi Maria, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So first of all, this is going to be coming out on PS4, so there's going to be quite a lot of gamers who, for them, this is going to be their first MMO. So what kind of steps have you taken to ensure that these players don't feel too daunted by the whole experience?
Well, going into it, designing pretty much every aspect of the game, we've going in thinking this is an Elder Scrolls game. This is an RPG, and we want it to feel like the next installment of the Elder Scrolls series. So if you are familiar with playing Skyrim on PlayStation, you will probably be familiar with the same control system that we have in the Elder Scrolls Online. We are changing a little bit of the UI to accommodate for a controller system, but you should be pretty familiar with attacking, blocking, moving during attacking, and things like that, just like you would in a regular Elder Scrolls game on console.
So actually playing the game should feel pretty familiar to people who played Skyrim, but I guess the main difference will be you're now sharing this experience with hundreds and thousands of other people. You know, what kind of options are there for people who want to start up parties? How do you want to interact with other people in the world?
Sure, so there's many different ways to go about playing it. You can obviously play the game through the leveling content solo. The main quest is specifically tailored for a solo heroic experience. But as you're going through the questing, you can either soft kind of group with people. You don't have to be in the same group to work together. As long as you contribute 10% of a kill to the fight, you'll get full experience, full loot for that. You can group up by going up to a player and selecting a radial menu to interact with them and invite them to your group. When you do that, you guys can track each other on your compass and run around together and do quests. Now, say for example, we're doing a quest where at the end of the quest, we've captured the bandit leader, and at the end of the quest they say, do you kill him or do you let him live? You can choose to kill him, and I can choose to let him live, and we can still play together. You'll see one outcome and I'll see another, but we won't be split up during the play. Now, for grouping experiences like dungeons, we have 4-man dungeons. There'll be 16 of them at launch. You can group up using our looking for group tools in order to find that, or you can just kind of meet up at the dungeon and see what happens. We also have public dungeons, which are non-instance dungeons. They're generally balanced for 2 people. One person can go in with full potions and everything like that and try and conquer it themselves, but it's kind of balanced for 2. So you can just go in there and just see who's in there and meet up and kind of group together doing the quest line in there. We also have master dungeons, and we have 6 at launch. Master dungeons are continuations of the stories of the regular dungeons. So say you'll beat a dungeon and then at level 50 you'll get a master version, which is the dungeon will open up into different areas, there will be different monsters, and a whole new quest line kind of saying what happened after you went through and changed the dungeon. And then we have adventure zones, which we're only talking a little bit about right now, but adventure zones are huge zones that are designed for 4-player groups and up to 24-player groups. So you can do lots of grouping activities.
Cool, and when I was walking around, I noticed a couple of people standing by a river. One of them was singing one of the songs from Skyrim. Are there going to be many like little nods to Skyrim and Oblivion in the game, like littered throughout?
So there's certainly the whole lore. So if it was around 1,000 years before Skyrim, because that's when our game takes place in the second era, if that lore was still around during that time, you'll see them. For example, if you're a player familiar with Morrowind, you might remember the creature, the Cliff Racer. Well, in Oblivion, cliff racers were wiped off the face of the earth. In Skyrim, you got to go back and meet the person that you had originally met in Morrowind to meet the person in an Oblivion plane, which killed all the cliff racers. But because we're 1,000 years before, there currently are cliff racers in the game. So you might be familiar with a lot of the lore. You might be able to find Maik the Liar, maybe Maik the First. Doesn't mean he's the same person, but is he the same person? You don't know.
What about the adoring fan?
So the Endora thing. So I don't want to spoil a lot of things, but there are certainly a lot of nods. In fact, there's a lore achievement you can acquire for researching all the different types of cheeses in Tamriel. So if you're a cheese collector or a fan of cheese, we certainly have an achievement for you.
And also, I guess, because this is going to be the first time the Elder Scrolls has taken in the whole of Tamriel, it's not just one specific region. That must have been a huge challenge, creating that whole world. And the different races start off in different areas. How long will it take you to be able to explore the whole world from the start of the game?
Alright, so when you first start your alliance, it takes about 130 to 150 hours, depending on how you go through it, to finish your alliance's play. And then once you get to the end of it and you finish your main story, you can choose to go to another alliance's story, do all that story, and then go to the third story. So it's 150, 130 times 3. And then you can go to adventure zones, dungeons, and also if you're familiar with Elder Scrolls Oblivion, that whole center area of Cyrodiil is our PvP area. So we actually took the height map from Oblivion and put it into Cyrodiil, and it's a little bit larger just because of the way our keep structures work, but if you can imagine how big that land is, that's the PvP area.
Thank you very much for talking to us, Maria. That was the Elder Scrolls Online. And if you want to see more videos from Gamescom, we've got loads on our channel. That is youtube.com/PlayStation Access.